Good afternoon, Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast fans. This is your host, Huge Pop. Today, guest, I have the actor of A Soldier's Secret. If he's affiliated with TNT Pro Wrestling, you can see him on sometimes see him on AMC. I have Michael Lovett. Sorry, Kevin Lovett. Michael Kevin Lovett on
Hello.
camera today. Sorry, I messed up that name. I'm so
You're
sorry.
fine. It's okay.
How you doing today, Mr. Lovett?
I'm doing super, sir. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I'm gonna have a bunch of questions. Gonna be all over the place. Acting, wrestling, no specific order.
Sure.
We're gonna have fun today, and we're gonna learn how it is to be a wrestler and an actor all in one. So I'm sure you have stories.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Um, so me growing up, WrestleManias and stuff like that's how I got into wrestling, liking wrestling. I seen it, Saturday Night Main Event and all that stuff. When did you decide you wanted to be into pro wrestling and into acting? Or was it all the same time or?
Well, I was a huge fan of wrestling as a kid. And, we got a ton of wrestling on television here when I was growing up. We got the WWE, we got, Jim Crockett Promotions, we got the AWA on ESPN, we got the Memphis stuff, with CWA and the Jarretts and all of that. And I was just enamored with it. I just really wanted to get involved with it.
Okay. Did you have any favorite wrestlers growing up?
Oh God, I grew up in the Hogan era, so that's
Okay.
what I was drawn to was the muscles and the gimmicks of the WWE. So it was, Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man Randy Savage, the
Okay.
Road Warriors, all those guys.
Okay. Now, did you model your in ring? I know your in ring stuff wasn't that long or whatever, but did you model that in ring after anybody specifically, or just being you?
Not really wrestling. It was the Fable character, that was my wrestling name was Fable, and it was based on a few different things. It was a little bit of the Emperor Palpatine comedy character from Robot Chicken.
Okay.
It was and a little bit of like the Gollum Smeagol character from the Lord of the Rings films, with like the bad guy, good guy, heel baby face alter ego.
Okay. That's good. How about in the acting? Did you model your style after any actor? Did you go look? I mean, I think of actors. I think of I don't know, John Travolta and Nicholas Cage, and all them guys. Is there a specific actor that you would model your stuff after, or just is it just who you are?
Yeah, it's pretty much just who I am. I was a big fan of a local Tennessee actor called David Keith. He was an officer and a gentleman. He was in Raw Justice. He did some different films.
Okay,
Not a real famous guy, but always inspired by his work.
okay. So, was is there any good influences that played in your heart, in your mind, in your when you're going through the wrestling and acting industry? Is there any big influences in your life that you could relate to?
Oh, again, Hogan, the Warrior, the Macho Man, all those guys, little bits of everybody.
Okay.
Even the Crockett promotions, Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, all those guys. It was just everybody was an influence.
All right. Now you're more of a GM or more of a ringside manager. Is there? I mean, the one I comes to mind is Paul Heyman, Jim Cornette, Mr. Fuji. Is that are you the heel manager or are you just the manager that stands around?
Well, most of the time it's a heel. Now, as the general manager, I'm a good guy. That's the clean cut good guy. But when the alter ego kicks in, when Fable kicks in, that's more of a bad guy. But it's a comical bad guy.
Okay. Kind of like the Eric Bischoff.
Right. Right.
Plays a good guy. Then all of a sudden NWO came in, and then he was the bad guy. Kind of like
Yes, sir.
that.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Do you have any close friends in the wrestling industry or the acting industry that um, you bounce ideas off them? Because I know in working with children, we have other sets of house parents around, and if there's frustrations or ideas, we bounce them off them to get feedback. Is that the same thing in the acting industry and the wrestling industry?
Sure. Well, on film sets, particularly with Timeless Dreams Productions that I work with director Linda Lee out of Sparta, Tennessee, we bounce ideas out off of each other, all the time.
Okay. Now, in the wrestling industry, is there anything you could change? If you could change anything in the wrestling industry, what would it be?
Well, that's kind of a pick 'em. I mean, at 46 years old, at this point, I kind of have to accept that I'm not exactly, the target audience and the target demographic. So, what I like or what I liked growing up, the muscles and the gimmicks and everything I grew up on isn't necessarily what's going to work out there on television now
Right.
with the target audience now, and I have to accept that. So, I mean, I have my own taste, but I know that it doesn't work for everybody.
Okay. Where did you train for wrestling?
Oh God, it was a small gym in behind Madison Square Shopping Center in just outside of Nashville, and
Okay.
was Excalibur Gym, and they had a wrestling ring in there. They had like a boxing ring, and at the time, Sir Mo of the Tag Team Men on a Mission had a ring in there, and he was
Okay.
he was doing some training people in there, and that's some of his guys, got me and a buddy in there and showed us what we did know. So yeah, it was all at the old Excalibur gym.
Okay. What about acting school? Did you go? Where'd you go
No,
for acting school?
never did do any acting school. Went
Really?
straight from wrestling into acting. Yeah.
What was that transition like?
Honestly, it was a lot easier. At least I feel like it was easier because with acting you get retakes. If you
Yeah.
if you screw something up, you can just yell cut and do it over with a live audience. In wrestling, you can't do that. And if a rope breaks or if you slip through the ropes, any of that,
Right.
you just got to get back in the ring and you kind of improv it and put it all back together. But yeah, you don't
And
get
hope it looks good,
retakes.
right?
Right? Yes, sir.
Can you talk about your role and experience in the movie A Soldier's Secret?
Sure. A Soldier's Secret is again a film by director Linda Lee and Timeless Dreams Productions, and it's a film about PTSD, the sacrifices soldiers make, and that sort of thing. And her son was injured in combat, and so it's kind of dedicated to him. And my role is it's a small role, but it is an impactful role. I play down on his luck, homeless military vet,
Mm,
and the lead character, he stumbles across me in an alley after I believe having a fight, I think in a bar, and he stumbles across me, apologizes, and we have a conversation, and my character kind of guides him back into the real world.
okay. Now, have you watched that movie the full movie, all from start to finish?
No, I have not. I have not. It's making the rounds right now
Okay.
in theaters, worldwide.
Okay.
So yeah,
Awesome. That was the release back in November 2022, correct?
December, I believe.
Okay, December. Okay. So we were talking about, you're a wrestler. You started out in wrestling, and then you went to acting, and then back to wrestling, and and then acting. Can you tell us what the? I mean, it had to have been crazy physically and mentally. Mentally, I'm sure. I don't know how it messes with your mind mentally, but it would. How do you keep? How do you transition? How do you handle that?
It's not so bad. I've learned to bounce back and forth pretty easy.
Uh,
Depending the role, if it's an easy role, excuse me. If it's something like the lifetime stuff, so to speak,
okay.
I have a little bit more trouble summoning emotion on camera than say, the intensity or the anger or comedy is easy for me. That's really easy, but the tearjerker stuff is more difficult for me than anything else. So
Okay. Now,
yeah,
I talked to many wrestlers and stuff, and they say in the Indies. And I love the Indies because you can tell their heart. It's just always they're doing what they love. I'm not saying the WWE and AEW guys don't do what they love. I'm sure they do, but the stories they tell us about the work that they put in to get Friday or Saturday. You know, calling up agents, calling up different promotions, presenting themselves. Now, is that what you do? Is that how you get your name out to get into these movies? Do you just send videotapes? Do you send your stuff, or there's a lot of it people watching what you've already done?
Right. I've been in probably 50 or 60 productions already, so my name is already out there. But my agent, Sean Mullen, over at TNT Pro Wrestling Booking Agency LLC, does a great job of getting my name out there. So, big shout out
Awesome.
to him. And again, director Linda Lee, that I'm working with right now on A Soldier's Secret and all that stuff. We got some more stuff coming up in the new year. She has another production called Enchantress that I play a sort of wizard warlock in, playing
Okay.
the bad guy. I almost always get cast as the bad guy, but but
Okay.
hey, that's okay. That's cool. But so I do have people, that are pulling the strings for me.
Okay. We got the beard and the deep voice, so that's probably bad guy material right
Right,
there.
right, absolutely.
Um, so you talked about your age, and that would have been my next question. I think you sent me a photo of you at Monday Night Raw. I think you had an arrow pointing down to you. I think that was you that did that.
Okay, don't quote me, but I believe that picture is from the final WCW Clash of
Yes,
Champions
that's what you said. Okay, now that brings a bell.
in Nashville, Tennessee. Right.
How hard is it? Okay, now you had the experience as a fan, sitting in the arena as a fan, watching the big guys and stuff like that. How hard was it to like go from the fan spot into the star role of being people watching you?
It was actually not the easiest. I was very antisocial as a child,
Oh,
and I had to, not popular at all in school and this and that. But that's okay because people love me now, right?
there
And
you go.
but I don't know. I learned how to become the character on screen, so it's not like it's legitimately me up there. I pretty much become the character, so that's who they're seeing on screen
Okay.
rather than just the little kid from school that was so nervous about everything back when I was a kid.
Right. Awesome, man. I appreciate your answers. So in your wrestling career, it's it was busy, then it wasn't, then the acting, then the wrestling again. In your wrestling career, is there anything or any goals you want to accomplish before ending your career? Before just saying I'm done, I'm just going to be acting.
You know, when I came back to wrestling this time, I said, you know what, if I can just get an opportunity and if I can just work with somebody that's made it somewhere, I'll be happy. Just let me do that. But now I've done that and it's like, I want more. And but it's still coming. So, as long as this ride is gonna go, I'm gonna take it.
So who was that one that you were talking about? You said you didn't say a name.
Oh, guys, I just not really let's see, I worked with Dylan McQueen a little bit.
Okay.
He's getting some attention out there.
Yep.
And when I was when I was the acting general manager of Great South Wrestling Federation, some guys came through there.
Okay.
Some of those Bullet Club guys came through.
Nice.
So yeah, I got to work with some people this time.
Do you have a dream match or a dream opponent?
A dream opponent, just anybody. Anybody
Anybody. All
is a
right.
dream
All
come
right. That's
through to
fair.
work with at this point.
That's fair. So here's gonna be a toughie. I mean, Mount Rushmore of wrestling and Mount Rushmore of actors and actresses.
Oh God, there's so many.
Yeah, no, I can't even. I can't pick. So,
Right.
hmm,
I mean, again, my Mount Rushmore isn't necessarily the same as
right.
everybody else out there. And if you put four people from one era up, it's not really going to transcend to
Right.
other
No, it's
eras.
not a fair. It's not a fair question. I'm so sorry to put you on the spot.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Um, I would say definitely Hogan,
Mhm.
definitely The Rock, and definitely Austin. I got to throw Flair in there too.
Okay, that's fair.
As far as acting, Sean Connery, always loved his
Yeah.
work.
Yep.
I'm gonna throw myself up there just for the heck of it.
Oh, there you go. Nothing bad about that. Well, that's a good
Right.
plug.
Let's see. Harrison Ford
Okay.
and Red Fox. Let's throw him up there. I always liked his work.
Awesome. My wife and I, we live near Pensacola, and they have what they call Pensacon every year, and we've been going for the last 3 years. So my people I like to meet, I met my is Ruby Soho. My niece drew that for me, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Very nice.
My wife is a big Doctor Who fan, so she got this sign, which is pretty cool. We like that.
Oh wow.
And she's sleeping, and I'm gonna watch this guy. I don't know his name. Anyways, I can't remember his name. My wife is gonna kill me. But anyway, we just go there. That's where we get to do our meet and greets and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. Um, so how old were you when you broke into wrestling?
Let's see. That was 1999. I think I was 23 years old.
Right. So with acting and wrestling, the sky's got to be the limit for you. There's got to be so much out there that you can accomplish and reach out for. And I try to tell our kids here that we care for that just shoot for the moon.
Absolutely. There's
You
so
know.
much opportunity out there. It's just a matter of gunning for it and trying to make it.
So as a GM or as a manager, how important are mic skills in the indies and in wrestling today?
Oh, I think it's still important one way or another. I mean, you got to be able to get the rollover, whether you're in the ring or on the outside of the ring.
Right. So yeah, one of my favorite mic skill guys is MJF. He's a master on the mic. There's tons of them I could talk about, but yeah, I think maybe as a fan, mic skills are important because, like for instance, Ronda Rousey, great in the ring, but horrible mic skills, and I don't like her. I don't fall, whatever. But the guys that have mic skills is pretty impressive. So, was who do you model your wrestling? Do you model it after like Mr. Fuji, Mr. Paul Heyman, or just
Uh,
me?
Big fan of Bobby the Brain Heenan as a kid.
Okay. Where can the movie buffs find you guys? Find your stuff.
My IMDb page is under my full name, Michael
Okay.
Kevin Lovett. My Facebook page is under my full name as well. I post stuff there all the time. And
Okay.
so, yeah, social media, it's all over there.
All right. We try and tell our kids we take care of the more you practice or do something, you'll eventually get better at it. I've got to believe in acting. For me, it's cooking. The more I love cooking, the more I do it, I get better at it. One of my kids is he likes the Rubik's cube. So the more he plays with the Rubik's cube, he gets better. Now about 2 months ago, he started practicing. He got great at it. For you in the wrestling and acting, what can you see that you have gotten better at in the years that you've done this?
The main thing, just getting comfortable with being in front of a live audience again.
Okay.
'Cause it's one thing to, do it in front of a camera, but a live audience is a whole nother world.
Awesome. Is there anything that you love to promote or plug in for your career to people out here listening?
Sure. Hang on, let me grab my list. I got a lot going on. Of course, I'm involved with the relaunch of the Universal Wrestling Federation, working along Wild Thing Stevie Ray, bringing that brand back to life. Also, my film Enchantress is out there making the rounds. That's with Timeless Dreams Productions as well. The episode 6 of Bermuda City, I have a small role in that as Agent Revy Simmons.
Okay.
That just won Best Web Series at the Golden Earth Awards.
Okay.
And I also have a small role in Gritty Romance with director William Hadnitz coming out. So there you go.
Nice. You talk UWF. I talk to a lot of podcasters out there, and UWF. They said died 8 years ago or whatever. So it's coming back. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
I was contacted about getting involved with a relaunch, and it's always a slow burn process anytime you're trying to get anything off the ground. But Yeah, we're working on it.
Where will that be out of?
It will hopefully be a national thing.
Okay. So I heard you love video games.
I did as a kid.
Okay. All right.
Uh,
And is there
once
a
every
video game of you? Is there a video game of with you being in it or something like that? Did I hear about that?
there was, if everything comes out, I think it's Indie Wrestling Manager is the name of it. It's a download game.
Okay.
So yeah, that'll be cool. I loved the video games as a kid, but I guess I just eventually grew out of it. Um,
Okay.
all the way back to the 8-bit stuff and the old arcade games like WrestleFest and Superstars and all of that.
Okay. Awesome. What can you tell the wrestling fans about the promotions you are currently in or plan on working with? I like to promote wrestling promotion, especially indies. Down here in the Panhandle, XIW, Extreme Impact Wrestling, amazing people. What promotions are you going to be working in? Do you feel the next in 2023, or is it all just a waiting game?
Sure, it's mainly the waiting game with the UWF. Again, we're going to be working on bringing that back to you, but it's City of Rome wasn't built in a day, so you just
There you go.
keep
True,
pecking
true.
away at it.
In the career of in your career, have you rubbed elbows with big name stars in acting and big name WWE or AEW guys? Have you rubbed any elbows with those guys?
WWE, I there was a show, an event with Kane years ago in
Okay,
Cookville. I was just barely getting into the industry, I just barely getting involved. But they brought him in for an autograph signing, and the funny thing was he didn't wet his hair down, and the fans didn't believe it was him. So yeah, I'm not sure they got their money's worth out of that one. But and on that same show, Sid Vicious showed up passing through town and offered his services to work the show. Wound up in the main event.
awesome. So we talk about in wrestling. AEW did it for the Forbidden Door. If I had a fatal four way with AEW, WWE, let's say UWF, and Great South Championship, would you have four top people that you would say that'd be one hell of a match?
Let's see, WWE. I would pick probably one of the Usos. They get a lot of heat. They got a lot of stuff going on. AEW. Let's see. I know he just retired, but I know Mark Henry was hanging around there, and I always liked his style.
Okay.
UWF, I'd pick Wild Thing Stevie Ray, and always liked his style. Always liked his jacket. I always tell him I'm going to steal it when next time I see him. But and who was the last option there?
Your Great South Championship.
Great South Wrestling Federation.
Yeah. That's it.
Gotcha. Okay, I'd pick the big O Octavius Black. He's a big guy. He's got some charisma, and always liked his style.
So now, will Stevie Ray be helping with the UWF when it
Yes,
relaunches?
yes,
Awesome.
absolutely.
Cool. Is there any big plans coming up for you 2023?
I got some film stuff coming up. Some film roles, and again, A Soldier's Secret is making the rounds out there in select theaters right now. So my plate is pretty full.
Okay, that's awesome, man. So, can you describe wrestling, the differences between wrestling today, in your opinion, from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s? It's a changed a lot, in your opinion, from when you
I,
started in it
I
till
think it
today.
has. I think it has. Everything moves so fast, and the flavor that the audience likes just seems like it's completely different than when I was on the other side of the curtain. Now, granted, a lot of again, I realize I'm outside the demographic at my age now, and I
Right.
have to accept that. But it has changed a lot.
So, how do you juggle family time with wrestling and acting? Is your family loving and supporting? Are they into business too? How does that work in your family?
My wife, she comes on some acting trips with me. She gets involved. Usually, when I bring her along with me, they'll throw her in some kind of a role
Okay.
in the film. So yeah, she's been very supportive so far.
Awesome, man. Awesome. What are you the most proud of in your acting career?
Just the fact that I got in there not really knowing what the hell I was doing as an
Right.
actor, and to be able to build a resume of over 50 film productions, film and television productions, and lead roles as well, and nobody just coming forward and saying, go home, you're no good, and having done all that with no quote unquote acting training, acting school. So yeah, I'm a little proud of that.
That's impressive with no acting school and get all those got over 50 interactions. That's awesome, man.
Thank
What's
you.
your favorite movie you've been in?
You know, uh, Enchantress is kind of my favorite because it goes with the fable character from the wrestling world, and
Okay.
playing the bad guy wizard in there, and
Okay.
I kind of got to blend the characters a little bit.
The name Gunnar Daniels. Can you tell me us about him? Your
Sure,
experience.
that's a friend of mine from Great South Wrestling Federation, and my first night back in the business, I connected with a gentleman by the name of Perry Hartman. He brought me out to Woodbury, Tennessee, as a manager, and I wound up working with Gunner, and we just had a tremendous chemistry. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not,
Okay.
but through that chemistry that we had that night, that you know developed into the opportunity to go out to Great South Wrestling Federation in Dunlap, Tennessee, and to be the general manager out there.
Okay. Do you think there's a lot of in Tennessee? I heard a lot of people I talk to are from Tennessee and stuff like Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama. Is Tennessee a growing indie wrestling state compared to others?
I mean, I honestly don't know compared to what it used to be.
Okay.
At one time, Tennessee was a stop on the road for anybody who became anything in wrestling. Hogan, Austin, Undertaker, Rock, everybody came through Tennessee at one time. But I don't know that it's that it builds the stars that it once did. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe I just don't have my eyes on that part of it. But at one time, yeah, Tennessee was a stop on the road for everybody.
Now, how important is indie wrestling to the mainstreamers? Is it pretty important step, or do a lot of mainstreamers bypass the indies?
No, I think it is important. It's part of that kind of like the law of the farm. You don't have the big time without the indies, and
Right.
the developmental system of the indies.
As a fan, would you rather watch indie wrestling or watch pro wrestling or mainstream?
Either or.
Either
Wrestling is wrestling. I love it all.
I have a your experience in wrestling, and I have a question I always ask. So what do you tell people that say this wrestling stuff is fake?
Well, it's it's so fake. I'm gonna need fake knees in about 5 years. So
Okay,
yeah, it's not
fair,
really fake.
fair. I will say that. I got a section that I like to ask because my I work with kids and they have a they go there you go. Mr. Scott, you got to ask these people. You got to ask you guys this. You got to ask. I'm going to ask favorite food, fast food, favorite fast food.
Fast food. Taco Bell.
Okay. Favorite music,
Classic rock.
favorite video game.
Video games. The old WrestleFest arcade.
All right. Favorite dinner other than fast food.
Mexican food.
Okay. These are my wife. So favorite actor and actress.
Favorite actor. Well, if I can't say me, I'm gonna say Harrison Ford.
Okay. Actors, actress.
Actress. Carrie Fisher.
Okay. Favorite movie.
Favorite movie. I always liked Officer and a Gentleman.
Okay, good. TV show.
TV show. The A Team.
A Team. Classic. There you
Yes.
go. I love that. I love that show. Love the show. So I have a couple people that you may know. One of them, the first one I'm going to name, had a lot of positive things to say about you. Does the name see Nick the Black Diamond sound
Yes,
familiar to you?
yes. I believe we crossed paths on the road somewhere. But yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, he is. He was down here in the Indies, down in Impact Wrestling or Extreme Impact Wrestling. He was a ring an in-ring announcer and a general
Yes, sir.
manager, and he ran its course. He was there for all of 2022, and now he's back in Georgia. He's part of the Urban Combat Wrestling.
Gotcha.
So yeah, he's a great guy. Then this guy is from Tennessee, so I don't know if you guys crossed paths or not. Damian Wayne.
Yes, we bumped into each other at a benefit show in Clarksville, Tennessee, I believe it was.
Yeah, yeah, good guys. I met these guys going to shows over in down here in the Panhandle, so I
Yes, sir.
wanted to bring those guys up and see if what you had to say about them, so on and so forth. A lot of your is there any interesting road travel stories you could share of how it is to travel to job, place to place?
I mean, I don't know that I ever traveled, enough to really get the lifestyle down, like when they're packing up 4 or 5 guys in a car and then do the same thing in a hotel room, it's
Yeah,
bound to get interesting.
has to. I can imagine it has to. So, um, I appreciate you coming on the show. Is there anything you could share with the fans before we go? That you would think that fans should hear? Any positive reinforcements? Anything like that? The floor is yours, man.
Sure, just keep pushing through life, follow your dreams, never give up.
Awesome. Well, guys, this is Michael Kevin Lovett. He's again, you can see his stuff on AMC. Some you can see his soldier and what's that name of that? I
A
forgot the
soldier
name.
secret.
Yes, there you go. You can see that. You get check him out when you get into Nashville. I appreciate your time, Mr. Lovett.
Thank you. You too.
Sorry it took so long to get this going, to get it
So it's all
rolling, but
good.
finally we got it out there. So I appreciate your time. This is Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast. I appreciate you guys, and thank you so much.